It's time for the No Nonsense Roundtable. Insights to capture your imagination from people you know and people you'd like to know about. Each week, a different guest from a different walk of life. Now, here is the host of the No Nonsense Roundtable, Dom Genova.
Well, good morning, everybody, and we have another edition of the No Nonsense Roundtable. I'm Dom Genova, your host. I'm here with a bunch of people today. People, a lot of you know, and some of them maybe you don't know, and you can tell these people really care for each other. They're all involved in a group, and you're going to find out what that is very soon. But first, we're going to talk to a man by the name of Travis Piper. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Now, how did we meet? You called me up one day, or you sent me an email. And
I did, and I said, I want to talk to you about things I've done in my life.
Yeah, and some of those things. In a minute, tell me about some of those things.
I worked for Xerox for 14 years. They sent me out to the Palo Alto Research Center, and I saw Windows and I saw the internet before the world even knew what it was. And
you were talking about that, and then you started to mention
And then I just happened to mention, oh, by the way, my wife and I started a theater group 39 years ago.
And that's when my 10-year-old mind clicked in. I'm going, okay, these wonderful things where you save the world, and you did, the things with Windows and these wonderful things that you didn't. No, I wanted to hear about this theater group because it's my fault I haven't heard about your theater group, and it is local, and you do these shows yearly, and you look online. It's really kind of cool. So let's start in, it's how did this theater group, the name of the theater group, and how did it start? Who was the founder?
The group is named the Msgr Schnacky Community Players because Msgr Schnacky was the impetus behind it. He married my wife and I, Kathy Piper, and we would go to church, and we had the priest over for dinner one night. Cut to the chase. And during dinner, how did you folks meet? Well, we had met with Penfield Players up in Penfield. We now lived in Bristol, so we were driving up to Mendon. Anyway, so he said, and that was about all that was said, that we met through theater. The next weekend, we're at church. Kathy picks up a bulletin beside her on the chair and opens it up, and suddenly I get this elbow in my ribs that says, and she says, look at this, look at this. Travis and Kathy Piper have volunteered to put on a play here at St. Catherine's.
And you hadn't yet.
We hadn't said anything. We just said we met through community theater, and away we went. And Msgr was the most Christ-like human being I've ever met. His whole idea was just to get people in the community to come together, to have fun, and he thought theater would be a neat thing to do. The church had just built a community center that was just a big empty room, and of course we said, you don't have a stage, you don't have lights, you don't have anything. And he said, just get what you need. And I couldn't do that the first year. I just couldn't, because I knew it was a big expense. And I said, what if nobody comes? So I made arrangements with Penfield Players. We called them and said, when aren't you doing a show? Because they did like 3 shows a year at different venues. So I said, when aren't you doing something that needs all your stuff? And they said, oh, nobody ever does anything in February. So that's why we've been doing our shows in February for 39 years.
Well, February actually sounds like kind of a good time to do it because you're getting, you have something to do during the winter. And then after you're done, it's March, and March isn't all that bad of a month. And so how many people did you start with when you started this thing years ago? And how many years ago was it? What year was it?
1982, Whoa. 83, yeah, 82. All right, thank you.
And how many people did you start with back then? What was your first production?
The first production was a melodrama called Pure as a Driven Snow. And
you started with a melodrama?
On purpose.
On purpose?
Because melodramas are written in such a way that if a mistake is made, sometimes it's part of the script.
Wow.
What's that I hear? Do I hear the wind? Do I hear the wind? And finally the wind sound comes in and the audience loves it, and it's just stupid stuff and playing with the audience and playing with the lines. And so we started with a melodrama. We probably, in fact, I did have the number in my head a few weeks ago. We had something like 30 people total involved in the first show, where now we're pushing 100, every
30
year.
people in the show?
No, involved with the show.
Oh, involved with the show.
Yeah, the cast was probably 15, I'm guessing.
And how many people in the audience?
We only did 2 nights, and Msgr filled the house because everybody loved him and wanted to support everything
Oh, he sounds like
was all about.
He sounds like somebody that could do that.
Oh,
I mean, this
and
is
he
like
could.
it's like the loaves and fishes of theater goers, I guess. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. The way we ended up arranging the tables, the hall seats 224, and we filled it 2 nights, and then the next year I think we went to a 3rd night. And then a couple of years later, we went to 5 nights, and just kept. Now we do 9 shows every year, and we have about 1,500 to 1,800 people come and see the show.
I'm curious. Did he do this with anything else? It sounds like he's kind of a sneaky snacky here.
I'm sure there are other things that he did that I'm not aware of, but yeah, you just couldn't say no to them.
All of a sudden, he schedules a wedding, and these people don't know each other, and they have to, you have to show up at,
Weddings were kind of slow that week. So,
that's right. So, do you have a favorite show that you've done?
Boy, that would be hard to say. In my mind, it's just been kind of one big show.
Well, is there a specialty? I mean, do you do like Pirates of Penzance type stuff? So, oh my God! Oh, I hit a nerve.
Like a nerve.
Oh my Lord!
Oh boy!
Oh, there's a story there. Go ahead.
Well, one of our members.
We're going to pause for our guests to take a breath.
Yeah. One of our members, David. We'll call him David because his name is David. He's been with
that's very big of you.
How about that?
That's very big of you. Okay.
He's been with the group probably 36, 37 years. And since day one, when are we going to do Pirates of Penzance? And every year he comes back with that. And
okay.
We don't, we just don't
like
do
Pirates
that kind of show.
Yeah.
We've done a couple of comedies. We did Arsenic and Old Lace. But most of it's melodramas. A lot of it are shows we've written ourselves.
Oh, really?
That we think are fun. Don here will tell you about some of his creations over the years at some point. But he was good.
That's fascinating stuff. I'm Dom Genova, your host as always. I am here with a delightful group of people, all led by this wonderful gentleman called Travis Piper. Going into the break, and we were talking about what might have been your favorite show, we touched a really strange chord because I said the word Pirates of Penzance. It was like, remember that old routine that Abbott Costello did, Niagara? Remember that one? Yeah, Niagara, and then he turned. It was sort of like, so I'm never going to mention Pirates of Penzance to you again. I don't know if it was the Pirates or the Penzance, but something set you guys off. So you have people that are performers, you have people that are directors. You happen to have 2 directors here today, right?
We just happen to
have. Would you kindly introduce them for me? And we'll start talking about directing the show.
Yeah. Well, ever so briefly, my wife directed the first 25 shows. Well, 25 of the first 39 shows we've done. I directed another, 7 or 8. And then Andrea Borelli, who's here, stepped up and has been directing for the last 4 shows. She was musical director for
everybody.
years.
For everybody that can't see this because it's radio, she shrugged. Yeah.
Shrugged.
Yeah. Okay. Shrugged. Yes. Nice Persian shrug. But you worked with your wife for 25 years producing this.
Yep.
And you got along with this son?
We did fabulously well, and she worked with me as well. So we were together like 23 hours.
Wow.
A day
that Father Schnacky, he really works miracles. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Yeah. That's good. So let's talk more about directing.
Yes. So Andrea's been directing the last few years. Patrick Ashley, who is here as well, directed 1 show, if I'm not mistaken, when we kind of had the changeover when my wife, because my wife has Alzheimer's now, so unfortunately she's not with the group, but she is in spirit. And so she's still kind of the heart and soul of the group, and Andrea's picked up the baton beautifully to keep that going.
So, Andrea, take a seat here, and we'll talk to you about about directing and the challenges and things you have to go through. And Patrick will do the same thing with you.
All right.
So, Andrea, why don't you go first? Tell me about directing. Fun directing people, challenging. Tell me your story.
Well, I've been a drama teacher for almost 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
So going into a community theater is kind of like a huge classroom, but you can't give any referrals. You have to be diplomatic, which you have to be diplomatic as a teacher as well. But it's fun. You bring out the best in people. Even if you see the worst, you turn it around and make it the best. They're still kind of challenged. You just say it's all good and just keep going.
Are people that are performers a little sensitive sometimes, you think?
I think that performers are the most amazing people in the world, but they're kind of like fine china.
Uh-huh.
You have to really take care of them.
You should run for office.
Really?
Yeah. That's a very, very diplomatic way of saying what you want to say.
Well, I think as a director, you also have to be diplomatic because people love to give you their ideas, which is great because that's part of who we are. We're a group and we all contribute. And I love hearing ideas. And then sometimes when an idea doesn't work, you have to break it gently that it won't work. But you're kind of part politician, part magician.
Yeah, and the pay stinks.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no pay involved.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
But
the community theater kind of tipped me off, yeah.
But you know what's great?
What?
The payment is the audience. The audience is there, and when the audience comes, that is your payment. And the smiles that you give the audience is just the best.
So, Patrick, tell me a little about your directing experience.
It was the first time. I never got involved in theater at all until I started going to the show back in 1990. My then wife, said, "Hey, you got to come see this. Some of our people are in it. Blah blah blah." I'm like, "All right, we'll go see it." Go see it. Had a ball. Then wanted to be part of it.
Uh-huh.
And so I said, "Yeah, I'll read for a small part." Got the lead.
Right out of the box, you got the lead.
The absolute terror in my gut. Basically, I required surgery. After that, I said I'll never be able to remember these lines. I can't remember my social security number. But I said, that's what they need. That's what they need.
Yeah.
And I remember my first night out, I was really nervous. Never been on stage before. Never. The only acting I did was, for my mother when I skipped school. But
she would let you skip school, so you know how good of an
Yeah.
Yes. And I remember I was so torqued up on adrenaline. Plus, I had 2 Cokes to boot.
Yeah.
So now I got adrenaline, sugar, caffeine running through my veins.
Yeah.
And I'm almost ready to overdose, and I got to go up on the stage. I got to burst out of the back door and say whatever my line was. Burst out that door. Almost fainted.
Oh, Lord.
They just naturally throw up my
And the
line.
audience would have thought that was part of the act.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
It'd be, hey, that's funny. Hey, what the hell? What's wrong with him down there? Hey, he's foaming at
Slap,
the
slap,
mouth.
slap. Yeah. Try to wake you up.
But,
So what was the part? You were the lead.
Actually, the first show we did, revisited a second time, Pure as the Driven Snow. And I was the lead, Leander Longfellow, which was total misnomer. But
So you directed.
eventually I got in. They asked me to do the directing, and I did it for like 2 years, but I thought my talents were more in the technical side, and like I say, never been on stage, never did any of that stuff. So, but it was tough. It was hard to do, but it was fun to do. But it was a little hard. It takes a certain kind of skill set that I have yet to develop.
I wouldn't say that. But you sort of got you sort of got used to it, right?
I did. I got used to being on stage. I love being on stage.
Yeah.
I have a ton of fun. I'm totally relaxed on stage.
Yeah.
It's nothing to go up on stage. It totally cured any stage fright. So that's a great thing about it too.
Yeah, and I would imagine once you get used to it, you turn those butterflies turn into excitement and fun.
It is.
And stuff
It's more
like
excitement,
that.
and let's get out there and kill them, kind of thing.
Well, and all of you seem to get along really well.
We
Yes.
do. Well, you do.
It's your family.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You need to understand that if you are part of this group, we take you in, and you are part of who we are.
Yeah.
So could you use a part-time radio host in your production here someplace?
Yes.
Everybody's nodding.
We'll
You're not
take
saying this is radio. You can do more than not. There you
We'll
go.
take you.
What do you know about lighting?
About as much as I know about radio. That's what it is. Well, I'm here with the great Msgr Schnacky Community Players. And at the bottom of the hour, I'd like to reach out to the great Bob Johnson Auto Group, who sponsor this show, owning Genesee Valley Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Genesee Valley Ford, along with the other great Bob Johnson dealerships. If you want to buy a car, get a car fixed, they're great people to deal with, and I thank them for sponsoring the show. Now, I'm here with two performers from the great Msgr Schnacky Community Players, and one is Don Cicchino and Bruce Chapman.
Yes.
And you two guys, well, you're players. So let's start with you, Don. And
Okay, Tom.
there's a private joke here you guys aren't just going to get. But Don, tell me about your favorite performance. What is your favorite performance of all time?
My favorite performance of all time would have to be, without a doubt, the last one that I did.
Okay.
Because that's the one I can still remember.
Okay.
Because
what was that?
I don't remember.
You don't remember. That's very good. You're going to be difficult, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, you are. That's okay.
Well, I'm a performer, so
That's okay. No, but what was your role?
I played in the last, because it was 2 years ago now, because we had the COVID thing.
So they laid you off for 2 years now.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, okay.
It's tough to get work. I played a Western lawyer.
Okay.
Who was a nerd.
Personal injury lawyer?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Have you got hit by a horse?
No, he did wills. His name is Will Reeder.
Will Reeder. Okay,
Yeah,
I got that.
Because we do all melodramas. Everything we do is a melodrama of a twist.
What makes a melodrama as opposed to a drama?
The difference, I think,
It's mellow?
Let me be real specific on it. I have
Okay.
no damn idea. I think it really is. It's a specific formula where there's a hero, there's a heroine, there's a horrible situation, near-death experience, and the hero always wins, always gets the girl. Very melodramatic.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of what we do, I think, is that we can mess up on stage, and it's part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we can just be ridiculously odd on stage, and people laugh. Because we don't take ourselves seriously, so why should
they?
Audience,
Yeah.
And that's what makes it real good. So sticking a kind of a nerdy lawyer, with a pocket protector and big wiring glasses and things like that, in the middle of the Old West, with all these cowboys, just fit real nicely. So what makes it a melodrama is weirdness.
Yeah. Sounds like fun.
One of the cool things too is we encourage the audience to cheer the hero and the heroine and boo for the villain
And throw popcorn.
and
throw popcorn?
At the end,
we give them popcorn.
yeah, we give them popcorn to throw at the villain, and it can get pretty. There can be a lot of popcorn up there. It can get pretty slippery too.
Started out with chicken nuggets,
But it's a lot of participation. Little kids come up, they love it. They're right at the front. They're throwing popcorn at the villain. Having a
Sounds
ball
like
with that.
little shop of horrors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So during one of these performances, something has to happen like really weird that you didn't expect or something. Oh yeah, you got stories I can tell.
We had this one. In fact, it was a play that I wrote, and it was called Schnacky, and it was a takeoff from Casablanca.
Casablanca. Yeah, I caught that.
And we had this one scene where this.
Yeah, right away. I jumped right on that. That's great.
There was this one scene where the officer is in Rick's, and he goes to sit in a chair. Now, I think Patrick probably told you all about, we build our own stuff and everything else. The chair broke right in the middle of the scene.
It was hilarious.
As he was sitting in it. He never missed a beat. He got right up and says, I think I'm going to fine him for poor whatever. For structural integrity of this building. never missed a beat. And it was hysterical. It was so good. My daughter, who knows a little bit about stage, thought it was part of the show.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, you do that every week?" No, we couldn't do it again if we tried. So,
That was great.
So how many people do you have in the audience at any one point in time? What's the most people you've ever had, do you think? Couple hundred, really?
What, 225, Travis?
Yeah.
Something
And then
like
you do
that?
the show. You do the show 2 nights in February, right?
no, 9.
9?
Yeah. We do.
Wow.
We do a Friday night, Saturday night, first 3 weekends of February, and Thursday nights we do a benefit show, if you will, for nursing homes and.
Oh, so you travel, or you
No,
just
they-
invite them?
a
Oh,
senior
you
citizen
bust them in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do nine shows.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's an awful lot of shows.
And we have a ball. It's a family. We're all, if there's someone who's sick, we have a prayer chain for everybody, and we have a lot of fun. But we also take it pretty seriously too.
Yeah.
We memorize our lines. We work hard at choreography.
We memorize your lines.
Yeah. But we do take it seriously and make sure we're not stepping on each other's lines. But we just have a ball doing it. And I have to get this part in because we were just talking about it. Wasn't it Msgr Schnacky who said there's no small parts in a Msgr Schnacky show? So every single person is important, right from the person who makes the popcorn to the hero and the villain.
Right.
And that's why it's this loving family that we have.
Yeah.
I get this feeling from you. It's like Notre Dame. They'll act like a champion today. You're going through this tunnel to the theater, and you're all bonding with one another.
Yeah.
So which two of you don't get along?
I don't like you very often, but that's
Other
okay.
than,
Yeah, no, I could die. No, it was a loaded
We
question.
prank everybody.
Do you?
Yeah.
Tell me a prank.
Let's see. Best. Oh well, Travis Piper, who was on earlier, he's sitting over there.
Yeah, he's right there. Yeah, I noticed he was still here. Yeah.
He was Ed Norton, and we did a sketch, and he was Ed Norton, and he did this thing with this pot that he's last night of the show. So he's stirring the pot, and he picks the lid up, and I had taken a centerfold and stuck it on the inside of the pot. He lifted up, and he didn't miss a line. But afterwards, he wasn't happy, but he laughed.
Yeah. Well, I'm Dom Genova, your host with the great Msgr Schnacky Community Players, who've been around since, 1982, is it? I mean, it's a long time. How many people do you think have actually participated as players since that time? It's got to be,
So Travis
got to be
has a
hundreds, right?
700.
How many?
700.
700. My Lord. And you guys all seem to, well, do you do anything other than together, other than the theater thing? You guys hang out together?
We do.
Can we find you someplace all together?
We-
Do you have a favorite thing to do?
We used to do a bowling benefit for the ladies. I know the guys have dinner sometimes together.
You're not supposed to know about that.
It's a big secret, and now it's on the radio. Sorry. And also, we just get together just to be with each other, but we also do other benefits. With Bloomfield Rotary, we do a radio show every Christmas. So we interchange between It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Carol, and it's wonderful. And it benefits the Rotary, which is awesome. That's what we like to do. We like to benefit other community groups so that we can work together.
Do you have somebody who's particularly good at writing?
We do. Dom Genova. He's very good at writing. He's written some of our shows. Patrick has written some things. Travis has written some things. We have people.
Did you ever think about doing an old-timey radio show?
We do that.
We do. Yeah, we could. Yes, we do.
Yeah, like with the
No, on-
artists and
Yeah,
stuff.
yes, we have thought about that. Do you want to do it? Let's do it.
You're good at picking up hints. I like it. That's where I was going. Yes, that's where I was going
Of
with that.
course.
Yes, we could do something about Rochester and why like a garbage plate is a good thing. Why is that a good thing? It's a garbage
I
plate.
love it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we could do something like
Love
that.
it.
Where
Plus
everything.
it includes
yeah,
food.
Yeah.
So
Huh?
it includes food.
Yeah,
So it's
everything about
important.
Rochester.
That'd be
Yes.
lovely.
I mean, yeah,
idea.
that could be great. I would love to do. One of my favorite shows used to be Lake Wobegon.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, Garrison
Oh,
Keeler,
yeah,
and that
yeah,
was
yeah.
on Saturday night, right? You would go and be barbecuing and listen to Garrison Keeler, and that was
Yeah, that was a
you
good
see,
show.
That was
it
good
was
stuff.
Great. I think we should do it. Let's do it, Dom.
Yeah, I think we should too. So let me. Usually, I make sure that the guest has some a little bit of advertising and whatever before we sign off. So let's talk about where the shows are, how you get to know about your group, and the website and all that other good stuff. Let's do some retail radio.
Yeah.
here.
So our home base is at St. Catherine of Siena Church, or here in Mendon, and adjacent to it is the community center, and that's where we hold our shows. Our website is mscptheater.org. We keep our ticket prices very low because we're a family show. It's $12 a piece, and like I say, it's a family show. And as far as participation goes, anybody can join. You don't have to be like a Catholic or anything. You could be.
You could be a
Presbyterian.
Baptist like me.
You could be a Baptist. Bruce the Baptist. You thought it was St. John. It was actually Bruce the Baptist that stood in.
Bruce the Baptist.
But no.
Bruce the Baptist.
But no.
Where do you get this stuff? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, gosh. It's a great thing. People need to join. It's a great thing to do during the winter. That's really the big deal, because it's a long winter in this area, and to get out, 2-3 nights a week, go have a lot of laughs, learn a show, and then eventually put on a show in February. It's a great thing.
Well, when do you start rehearsals for that?
So we
should have started last March.
Yeah, we actually audition at the end of September, beginning of October, and then we start our rehearsals in November.
I'm laughing because you say audition, and everybody so far has said, "Hey, I auditioned the first time and I got the part."
That's right.
Yeah.
Auditions are very.
It's really
fun.
not a tough audition.
No, it's actually a community building, and this year we are going to have some audience participation, and that's going to be exciting. That's a little sneak peek. But if you really want to be part of the audience, you'll be part of the show. If you want to be part of the show, you'll be part of the show. So it's one of those things where we're going to do more interactive things, and we'll start rehearsals in November, and we go through December, and then January we really rev it up. We build our own stage every year. We do everything from scratch, and then we perform the first 3 weekends in February.
Well, that's wonderful. So there are 5 of you. I'm going to have to give each of you like 45 seconds to give me a last word. Go ahead.
Last word, join. It's a great experience. I've been doing it for since 92, so that should tell you something. Bruce.
And one of the great things that I've really gotten out of this is the camaraderie with everybody. Yep. It really helps me in my business life, as in sales, building confidence, and it's just a wonderful organization, and I have a ball.
You laugh and you laugh and you laugh and you eat and you eat and you eat. The food's tremendous, and anybody can do this.
No, go ahead.
I think the one thing that we need to all remember the past 18 months that we've been experiencing, being with people is so important. This group is essential. Amen. Please come, either join us on stage or join us in the audience. You will not regret it. It'll be an experience that you'll always remember.
And if people want to bring their own popcorn to throw at you, can they do that?
We provide our own popcorn, but if you'd like to, that's fine.
Just can't bring popcorn balls.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Travis, I'm going to let you have the last words. Have a seat over here and take us into the last part of the show.
Just to kind of wrap up, this group has been the absolute best experience of my life and my wife Kathy's. Just so many friends, as she's been. She's in an assisted living facility right now, and but the friends that I have are from this group. We travel together, we party together, we hang out together, and it's just a big family, like we've been saying.
Well, you can tell from the way you interact, you care for each other very, very much, and I guess that's probably what it's all about, right? Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, we're at the end of our hour, but I'd like to remind everybody that we're here every Saturday from 10 to 11, and you can also get our podcast, any of the older shows that we have, on anywhere you get your iHeart podcast, or you can go to nononsenseroundtable.com, and there's a link there to the YouTube, so you can get them on wherever device you use to get your YouTube. So I want to thank you for listening. It was delightful, and you might just have me over there on stage with you one of these days. And we're going to do an old-time radio show sometime. We really have to do that. I would love to do that. Wouldn't you guys like to do that?
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be. Okay, so until next week, this is Dom Genova. Thanks for listening.